everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Bailey Bookish Podcast. Today, I am once again joined by Alex, and we are covering Chapter 27 of Jane Eyre.
Woo!
Woo! I
It's really
am
early
pumped.
when we're recording this, so I'm really
hmm
psyching myself up to be excited because I am excited. This is a good
hmm
chapter.
hmm I'm 2 energy drinks in, so I've a lot going for me now.
I am one Baja Blast in, and there is coffee brewing for when I'm done. So,
Ugh, good.
mhm.
Apparently, they're coming out with a new Purple Haze, I think it's called. Mountain Dew, which is just announced.
You can't see it, but I'm stroking my beard.
hmm
Mm,
hmm
yes.
I think it's sugar free though, so we were like, "What?"
Oh, I'm not stroking my beard anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a non-sugar free option, but my friend found out about it, and then it said sugar free, and she was like, "Ew,
No, stop. What are you doing?
what are you doing?"
Stop.
I have a lot of issues with sugar, so sometimes I like a sugar free moment because my stomach does not like sugar.
Mm,
Couldn't tell you why.
because your stomach has opinions.
Yeah, lots of opinions at this point.
When I
All of
was
my energy drinks have to be sugar free, otherwise I get overly nauseous and I feel violently ill.
oh, that's less great.
Yeah, yeah.
When I was driving to Maryland last weekend,
hmm
I stopped in Connecticut because it was a one-stop road trip, which is my favorite way to road trip.
hmm
And it was I started driving at like 4:30. It was early, so when I got to Connecticut, I was already very tired, and so I walked in, got my gas, walked into the station, grabbed what I thought was a Coke, and put it
hmm
down. And the attendant looked at me, and I thought it was like I was just tired. And I was like, "Why is he judging me?" And then I realized I got a sugar-free Coke. And I don't know if I'm projecting the judgment, but I was judging myself when I got back in the car, opened that up, and was
hmm
like, "Wait, this is exactly not what I want. I'll take a
See,
Diet Coke over this."
yeah, I like a Diet Coke, but I don't do Coke Zero.
It's not good. Uh,
hmm
I hate Diet Coke. Anne loves it, so we always have Diet Coke in the house.
hmm
And there are certain days when I'm so desperate where I'm like, I'm going to drink one of these. And then I immediately hate myself and it and the universe. But I do have caffeine and that helps. But
Yeah,
given the choice between two bad things that I don't like, I would have took the Diet Coke in that moment.
I don't know what it is, but whenever jobs have free Diet Cokes, that's the only time I drink them. I don't buy pop at
Mm-hmm.
all. But the second my job's and then we have free Diet Cokes for the employees, I'm like, oh yeah,
Give me that shit.
yeah,
Put it right over here. Just
yeah.
create a little pyramid and I will drink it.
The only beverages I buy, because I drink a lot of water, but I do like a Powerade. However, I will never buy them. My
Mm.
mother buys them, and I'm like, oh yeah. But I won't.
Ah.
For my own home, I never buy them. The only time I've done that is I'll buy the mix that you can put into a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it that way, just because I hate spending a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather just put it in the big gallon and then I tap it, you know?
Just gonna tap my supply here. Don't mind me. Ah.
And then I drink that and I can put it in a little cup. And I know it's not the same flavor and people are like, it's so gross when you do it that way. And I'm like, I don't care. I
I
don't
know
care.
what I'm here for.
Yeah.
This is what I'm expecting, and it's what I'm gonna get, and I'm fine with
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm
And
that
I'm
way
cool
with
with
frozen
it.
pizza. You know,
Yeah.
frozen
Yeah.
pizza, it never rises to above a C, I don't think, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes C minus pizza is exactly what you want and what you need
Mm-hmm.
in your life in that moment. You're like, I don't want good pizza. I want pizza that's just doing its job. It's just out here vibing like me, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna become one.
See, imagine being gluten free and your only option is mediocre pizza for the rest of your life.
I don't love that for you.
Yeah, I don't love it for me either. All I want is a pizza bagel.
That isn't
Mm-hmm.
a gluten free pizza bagel.
Mm-hmm. hmm It's the preservatives that's in gluten more so than it's just the gluten. So if I get an artisanal bagel, I could probably do it, but then it like feels like I'm being like, yeah, and if this bagel is not like farm fresh table to farm to table again, I will not eat it. And I just can't do that to myself. Like
Right, like
I feel like
you'd
I've got to
hate
order
yourself too much to be
yes,
like, I can't
yes.
do this. I
Like
get it.
I feel like I'm doing the whole moment where I'm like, are these like wild caught salmon on my bagel? You know, that's the energy I feel like I'm giving,
I
and I
need to know
can't do
that
it.
this bagel was crafted in a cruelty-free manner.
Mhm. I need to know that the farmer gave it a little kiss,
Yeah.
gave it all its love,
Yep.
spent 7 days rising it, and then put it in the oven. And then it came straight from his house or her house or their house right to the table. It never touched your hands. If
No,
it touched your hands, it's no longer farm to table.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
I want
I
this
don't know.
bagel to have never felt the sharp sting of a knife until I plunge mine in, okay?
I want this bagel to not even know the word capitalism. Okay.
I want this bagel to have attended at least 1 year of community college so that it has some knowledge of the world prior to
Mhm.
my consumption of it.
I want this bagel to be something Frodo himself could have crafted, you know,
And
and then
worn on a
brought to my
chain.
table.
I would prefer if he didn't put his hobbit finger through the middle hole, though.
Hmm.
That would
Hmm.
be ideal.
Oh my god. That's just how I feel like every time I have to like order food at this point because I'm
Hmm.
like, yeah, that sounds great. However, do you also have a gluten-free menu? I also can't have garlic or onions. Um and any dark meat makes my tummy sad. So
Like, yeah, I guess we'll bring you the white lady menu. Here you go.
literally.
Here
Or
you
like for some
go.
reason, whenever I have to get gluten-free things, they also assume I'm vegan. And I don't know if it's
Hmm.
just easier to make that like all in one, but
Probably.
I'm like, can I please add chicken to this?
but
Like,
but
is
I
that
would like
okay?
some protein, some meat
Yeah.
protein in this, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Like I don't mind eating vegetarian, but like if I'm gonna go to a work function, I'm not eating beans. That's between me and being kind to the rest of this crowd. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right. You don't want to do that to your coworkers. That's unless
Yeah.
you hate them, in which case fine.
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna blow up this car driving us back, okay? Like
Ow, I have seltzer in my nose. Uh okay, okay. Good. All right.
amazing. Anyways, with a great transition, let's talk about chapter 27.
Right, speaking of beans,
Yeah, speaking of beans,
let's talk about Mr. Rochester, who's
yeah,
full of
who
shit.
is a fart cloud himself,
He's the
honestly.
absolute human fart cloud.
So Jane wakes up the next day and she's like, "Yeah, I probably should leave, right?" Like, and I just made a note here. I'm like, isn't it kind of wild that Mason didn't even offer to like bring her to her uncle or anything? He's just like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'm just gonna ruin your entire relationship. You have no relations. Best of luck. Bye."
No, just like circling back to what we talked about last episode, like these motherfuckers literally come in and like
Hmm.
Rochester, ruining your life. Jane, ruining your life.
Hmm.
Bertha, keep her in the attic, I guess. That's fine.
Yeah,
Jane, what are you gonna do with yourself? Don't care.
don't
Goodbye.
care.
Yeah,
Deuces.
absolutely wild. Like
Hmm.
the I don't know if this is if this is a specific choice, but like some people did not think of their actions and or did not give a shit about the consequences thereof.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like you'd have thought that Jane's uncle would be like, by the way, when you ruin my niece's fiance's life and she doesn't have anything to do, maybe send her my way. Nope.
Literally.
Nope.
Yeah, I know this young gentleman, this young whippersnapper, was about to entrap her. Um, leave her there with him.
Right? Don't remove her from this situation. Absolutely not.
I just, don't want her to live in sin, but don't want her to live with me either.
Right.
So
Poverty is fine. Also,
homelessness also good.
this motherfucker lives in Madeira. Is like he's just like living his best life on the
Mm-hmm.
off the coast
Mm-hmm.
with wine. Like
Yeah.
Madeira is a lovely place. It's not cold and weird like
Mm-hmm.
England, so he's just like sunning himself in his villa, no doubt, surrounded by wine, being like, "I'm the only person who can live here."
This seems good,
Right?
actually.
I don't want to change this situation at all. No.
I'm just imagining him in like, like when rich people go to their private island and they're like all white linen.
Absolutely yes.
Yeah. He's on like a beach chair, all white linen, poolside. Mason's like sitting up though, like obviously uncomfortable, and he's like sunning himself, drinking wine, like in his chair. And he's like, "Yeah, just like leave her there. That's fine."
I can leave my sister there too. Oh, I don't give a fuck about your sister.
Very like, what is his name? Robert De Niro? No, no. I think Sylvester Stallone's actually the one I'm thinking of. Hold on,
I'm holding.
hold on.
I'm holding.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone's who I want to play this guy.
What an interesting casting choice.
I love him.
I mean,
I'm
Sylvester
pretty
Stallone, I think, would look good in a little linen suit with a little like Panama hat,
all
just
linen
hanging out
only.
on the beach.
I'm pretty sure he's the one that just divorced his wife because she wouldn't let him get a dog. So I love him.
Oh, Sylvester Stallone has a long history with dogs. I don't know if you know.
Yeah,
You know about
I
the
did
Rocky
not.
dog?
Mm-mm.
So Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky, the film Rocky,
Oh, I
in
did
which
not
he
know that.
starred. Yes. So he was just like super poor before this, had a
Mm-hmm.
dog, had to get rid of the dog because he
Oh.
could not afford to keep the dog, was living in his car, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote Rocky. It obviously becomes like an iconic major film
I
that,
still haven't seen Rocky, so don't tell me
oh,
anything about it.
okay. Well, it's very good. It's a very
Mm-hmm.
good movie. I mean, it's a
Mm-hmm.
boxing movie that's not about boxing.
Yeah.
But there is boxing in it. But so it becomes this commercial success. He gets all of this money. First thing he does is he goes back to the guy who he sold the dog to and was like, "I would like my dog back." And the guy's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Sure, $10,000." He's like, "Here you fucking go."
Yeah.
Yeah, man loved his dog, and I appreciate that.
Let me double check myself before I commit to this, but I'm pretty sure I saw it. Hold on. Sylvester. I'm not spelling this right. Sylvester Stallone divorce his wife for dog. Okay, so he's denying the rumors that he divorced his wife. Uh, and it had nothing to do with his Rottweiler Dwight.
Oh, do not bring Dwight into this. It is not Dwight's fault. Damn it.
Literally,
Okay.
literally. But he did cover the tattoo of his wife with a tattoo of the dog.
Incredible.
That, yeah, yeah. He covered it with his dog from Rocky, Brutus.
That's adorable.
Bruticus.
That's
Sorry.
adorable.
Butticus? I don't know. I don't know. Butkus.
Butt kiss.
Butkus. I might be making it really fancy, I guess.
That's it's incredible that Sylvester Stallone made so many good, like, in a way, progressive political movies in
Hmm.
the 70s and 80s, and now he's just like, oh, let's just make another Expendables movie, and we're all gonna blow shit up.
He's like, whatever, dude. I did my work.
That's right.
Let me have fun with explosions.
He did the work. He made some significant contributions. And now he's like, fuck it, we ball and blow shit up. All right. You know what? I mean, he's old, so like, yeah. If you want to be 70 years old and out there doing, exploding shit, good. I don't. I'm not gonna watch it, but like, I'm
Mhm.
glad you had fun.
It's like Adam Sandler, who's just like, I just wanted to take a vacation with my bros, so let's make a movie. And
Mm,
then it's a tax write off.
exactly. I like when people have like when they've spent their life doing their craft and then
Hmm.
towards the end of it they just get to be able to fuck around.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee is my favorite example of this
Hmm.
because like Christopher Lee is a wild human being,
Hmm.
killed some Nazis in World War II,
Mm.
did a bunch of awesome horror movies that are terrible but great.
Hmm.
And then at the end of his life, Christopher Lee was like, I always wanted to be a singer, but then I got into acting. I would like to do singing again.
Hmm.
And so he just started releasing metal albums
Legendary.
as a 90-year-old.
Legendary.
Yes. Like, there
Well,
you
it's like
go.
Stephen King being in a band. It's like, fair enough.
Right. Like, yeah, you've already made enough contributions to the culture. You do what sparks joy, my friend.
Hmm.
And apparently, putting out albums about Charlemagne in a metal adjacent genre
Hmm.
are what Christopher Lee wanted to do.
All I'm saying is if I ever get to live to 80, watch out, world. Because I'm going to do some buck wild stuff.
Be like, you know what? Don't care anymore. I'm gonna be dead soon
Listen,
anyway.
the second I can start outsourcing the editing of this podcast and afford it,
Mm.
yeah, things are going to change.
We we look forward to this day.
Subscribe to the Patreon so I can make my dreams happen, folks.
Yeah,
Or watch my Twitch whenever I get back to that.
do it. All of
Yeah.
you who are listening, get in the comments. How do you think Rachel can monetize this in a more effective way?
Yeah. Help me live better. Thank you. Then she's like sitting in here and she's like, nobody has come to check on me at all.
No one.
Like, imagine you just go through this like absolute trauma and then you're like, oh, I'm alone.
Right, because it's not. I mean, there are people in that house.
Mm-hmm.
She has a fiance who is like there, but I do like that it takes her hours. She's just like so in her head, like "woe is me," which fair.
Mm-hmm.
She's had a bad
Yeah.
one, but
Yeah.
then nothing. Just mm-mm.
So then she's like, you know what? I'm actually starving and I'm going to go see if anybody actually is concerned about me. So she opens her door and like Rochester's still in the hallway.
He's just right there, like
Yeah.
literally been sitting right there, not
Hmm.
opening the door. He's just like, it'll be helpful if I just sit here and wait for her to come out.
It's like, have you ever seen one of those movies where like they're sitting on the other side of the door and you open it and they just fall in?
Fall in. Absolutely, that's what's going on.
That's what I was imagining. So enjoy that little word picture. Um, and he's like, Jane, I'm so sorry. This is terrible. I can't believe this happened. And Jane's like, you can't believe this happened.
Right, like, my guy, you knew all of this.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but I didn't think you'd find out.
Obviously. Like, I'm sorry you found out, actually.
That's absolutely what this is. This is, I am ashamed of the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you found out about my secret.
Mm-hmm.
Am I ashamed of my secret? Yeah, but it's worse now that you know.
Mm-hmm. And then Jane has a line here where she's like immediately forgives him. And I'm like, Jane, you doofus. What are you doing?
I like that she immediately is then like, but just in my deep heart of hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Outwardly, I was very mean to him. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, good
Good.
job.
Queen.
Yeah.
And then he ends up like carrying her downstairs because she's like starts crying, which I think is the funniest thing in the world.
There's so much of Jane being like, oh,
Yeah.
my human body no longer functions. You have to carry me
Same.
places.
Same. Big mood.
I also appreciate the idea that even though Jane is very small, I don't know that
Mm-hmm.
Rochester lifts or is
Yeah.
otherwise like in shape. So I like the
Mm-hmm.
idea that he carries her, but he's like, "Ah,
Yeah.
ah," like just staggering down the stairs with this wisp of a human being, and he's just like, "This is a lot, Jane, but I'm making a gesture."
He's like, You know, he's just like, do that thing. He's like, yeah, this is fine, not hard at all. And he like turns to face, he's like, oh.
100%. Yes.
Mhm. And then he tries to kiss her, but then she moves her faces away. And
She's like,
he's like
no.
so sad. And I'm like, why is this adorable? Like, this is so toxic, but I'm in love with it.
Oh, is this whole like encounter is just real gross in a very
Yeah.
cute way, and that's a
Yeah.
terrible way to describe it, but that
Yeah.
is what it is.
I don't know. I'm like, oh, but also like, ugh, you know?
I mean, at one point he's literally like, Jane, please listen to what I'm saying, because otherwise I'll choose violence, and you don't want that. And she's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. And he like physically grabs her. I'm like, wait. Whoa, whoa,
Hold
whoa.
on.
What are we doing here?
There's
Hold
literally a
on.
line where he's like, feel my pulse, Jane. And she's like, ah.
Yeah, it gets a little too aggressive for a second. I'm like, it's cute in this moment, but then like later on, not so cute. Very scary, spooky, actually.
Yes.
So, uh, he's like, okay, I'm gonna send Adele away, and then we're both gonna leave. And Jane's like,
That was the sound of Adele being sent away.
truly. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna send Adele to school, and then we're both gonna leave. And Jane's like, yeah, I think that's for the best. Not on the same page at
No,
all.
different books, actually.
Yeah, literally. So, um, Jane's like, see, this is further proving my point. Like, if anything had happened to me, you would have locked me up like Bertha did. Like, you locked Bertha up. Good point.
Yeah. Like, listen, we have. It's not a pattern, it's just
Mm-hmm.
one, but Jane
Mm-hmm.
has no reason to believe that at the first sign of problems, Rochester would be like, gotta buy a new fucking house with an attic to put my second wife in because she's
Literally.
also crazy.
Literally. And she already knows that, like, this singer that he was, like, kind of talking to, he, like, shot her boyfriend. So,
Yep. A history of not great choices, we'll say.
yeah. So then Jane is like, okay, so I'm going to go my way and you're going to go your way. And he's like, what do you mean you're coming with me?
She's like, no,
She's like, incorrect.
false.
And then he says to Jane that if she won't hear him, he'll try violence. And I'm like, sir?
Hmm.
What?
No, there's a very distinctly uncomfortable moment where he like picks her up and he's like, why is this tiny person so hard to like manipulate? I mean, those aren't his exact
Yeah.
words, but it's like my ooh, like
Yeah.
there. The first time I read this, I had a legitimate fear that like something very bad was going to happen to Jane, like
Yes.
that this was going to turn into some sort of abuse situation. Not that it
Mm-hmm.
isn't already. I mean, there is obviously verbal and mental abuse happening in this
Mm-hmm.
scene, but like I thought we were going to be crossing the line into like
Mm-hmm.
assault, and it was just like
Yeah.
ah.
I know. I was pretty stressed out. But I was also like, would he just murder Bertha? And then be like, look, we're fine now.
I mean, I feel like that is some internal Rochester logic, just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so Jane is upset about the fact that Bertha's alive. Got it. We can
I
fix
killed
that.
her. Yeah, no problem.
It's all good. We're all good.
Rochester said, okay, slay.
And Jane was like, no, not like that.
No. No, Jade's like, I'm a good Christian woman. And
Rochester's
Rochester
like,
said, who's? Roch-
Christianity. I don't know her. Never met her.
Rochester said, who is God? I'm God. Yeah,
Me is. So,
me is. So, Jane cannot hold it anymore. Hold together. She just starts bawling her eyes out at the thought of violence, which, like, fair.
yep, extremely fair.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that there's like some sort of underlying thing where she's like, I started crying to calm him down, and it's like, girl, I don't think so.
I don't think
I
so.
I think you may be past projecting here.
Mm-hmm.
I think your rope's done. You got nothing
Mhm.
left, and I don't blame
Mhm.
you. I don't blame you
Yeah.
at all.
Listen, I also cry under stress, so
Yeah, like yeah.
like most of us do.
And you're a Victorian orphan waif who was like taught
Mhm.
that crying is a sin or some shit. So
Probably. Human emotion is a sin. We all know this.
vampire emotion is also a sin.
We all know this.
We all know this. And so when you have both human and vampire emotions and you can't express
Mhm.
them, you bottle them up, and then you have these moments where
And you cry blood tears.
you cry blood tears onto your employer slash ex fiance's rug.
Mhm. Mhm. And then Rochester said he's not going to let her leave, and I'm like he's about to lock her away like he did to Bertha.
Yep, legitimate fear, legitimate fear.
Mhm. And then he's like you still could be my wife. And Jade's like, "Literally what are you talking about?"
She's like, you say wife, I hear mistress, and everyone else hears mistress. So
Mhm.
absolutely the fuck not.
Mhm. Jane's like, I might be sheltered. However, I know that if you have a wife, you cannot have another one.
You don't get to have more. Those are the laws.
Yeah. And then Rochester's like, let me give you my little pity backstory, and it might change your mind. And Jane's like, I'm not sure it will, actually, but okay.
She's like, but go ahead and talk.
Yeah, if you
Whatever.
want to, that's
I got
fine.
I got nowhere to be for the time being.
Hmm.
I'm about to
So,
be locked in a closet somewhere. So,
mhm.
okay.
So Rochester's like, I was put into an arranged marriage. And Jane's like, okay. And apparently what happened was his father and his brother knew that her family had like mental health issues and chose to marry Rochester off anyways because they were going to offer them like £30,000 to take her.
Which is a significant amount of money. Very
Yeah.
like that's a big chunk of change. Let's be clear.
Mhm. Mhm. But like they still let Rochester go down there, meet her first,
Yep.
decide to sign his life away to her. Like it was all his choice. And he's like, I was young and a fool. I'm like, you were,
Yep.
yes. However, you are still complacent in this.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the whole like my family knew, and they tried to, they manipulated me into this. It's like my guy. They were like, "Hey, go to Jamaica and marry this very attractive woman, and we'll get a lot of
Mm-hmm.
money." And you were like, "Bet."
You're like, dare. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yup. Like, yeah, you were young, but guess what?
What of it?
What? Yeah, I bet if you were old, you might still do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep. And then in the span of 4 years, his dad and brother died, and then he said basically that Bertha had fully succumbed to madness. Um,
Madness in the
quote.
quotes.
Yeah, basically she started like fighting with him a lot, and he was like, "She's crazy."
This is the thing that really gets me is that
Mm-hmm.
never, never do we get what actually is going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if if I had married someone who was clinically insane, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
who at this point we are not a functional person. There are
Mm-hmm.
institutions that you should be involved in, but those don't exist in this period. So like we have to lock you in a house. Like I would want to explain, like, listen, here are the reasons in which that this is no longer a functioning thing. And he's just like, yeah, she was like really mean to the servants and like really mean to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, my guy, that's just like maybe she's an asshole and maybe you're an asshole. That's not that's not madness. I mean,
She
it's
sounded like a
literary.
spoiled rich girl, to be
Yes,
honest.
absolutely, that is the impression I get.
Mm-hmm.
That just like, yeah, her parents had a lot of money, she's used to getting her way, and now
Mm-hmm.
Rochester's there and he's like, this is how I want to do it. She's like, no. And he's like,
Yeah.
this is insane.
Yeah. Literally. And then he's like, yeah, so I locked her in a room
And she
and
was
then she
mad
tried to
about it.
stab me. Like, this is
Yeah.
crazy. Like
It,
she's literally locked up all the time, 24/7. Has like which has driven her to madness. Like, can you? I can't imagine being locked up constantly.
no, and like if you like from the beginning when they're in Jamaica, he's like
Mm,
got her basically confined in the
yeah.
house. And then he has that speech where he's like, I felt the breeze of Europe. And it's like, my guy, I see what you're saying. You don't like
Hmm.
these tropical environments and tropical people. I get it. This is very racist. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like, but the wind of
Imagine
Europe.
being in Jamaica first off and being like, "Yeah, this is just a little too beautiful. I should go to Europe."
Yeah,
Like,
right. He's like, the wind of Europe. It's like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The wind of Europe was like, maybe, maybe you should oppress this woman. And you were
yeah.
like, yes, this is what we should do.
The wind of colonization.
Mm-hmm. I smelt it on the breeze.
Yeah. He says like, "Ah, it smells unseasoned. Yeah, let's."
I need to get away from all of this flavor potential. To England.
He's like, "The palm trees were really kind of bumming me out."
I hated the beaches. There was sand everywhere. It was too
Mhm.
warm. People had too much fun and flavorful food there, so I had to leave.
It makes me laugh because like I've grown up, obviously. I've done most of my growing up in Florida, and I forget that there's people that like don't enjoy tropical climates. And I'm like, yeah,
This
my
guy,
best one of my best friends hates beaches, tropical climates. And my boyfriend lives here, loves Florida, doesn't like the beach, but it just makes me laugh because I'm like, what? Like,
see, I do love seasons and I love
mm,
cold. Like
yeah.
if it is the cold, like I used to walk to work when it was 40 below. I
Mm,
loved it.
mm,
Bracing, you get all bundled up. It's great.
mm,
The second the thermostat goes above 80 or the thermometer goes above 80, I'm like, whoo,
yeah.
getting a little warm in here.
I I hate the cold. Like I love fall. I love visiting in the fall. The
Hmm.
second snow touches the ground, I'm like, get me out
Nope.
of here.
Nope.
I'm out.
That is that is my time. So like
Hmm.
in this way I understand Rochester being like I grew up where it never got above 70 and it's just cold and damp all the time, so like
Hmm.
this is a lot, but also like I'm sorry, I do love a beach. I love a beautiful vista.
Hmm.
If it gets a little warm, you know, that's what fans are for.
I mean, tropical islands, it's not like it gets sweaty when you're, because it sounds like he has a beach house,
Oh yeah,
you
he's
know?
got like breezes. You know,
Yeah.
he's well situated. He is living his
Hmm.
best privileged colonial elite life. Like
Hmm.
let us not feel bad for Rochester in any way, shape, or
I know.
form.
He's got like a hammock outside,
Right? He's
straight
like,
chilling.
this is terrible.
Yeah. He's got his margarita in one hand and he's like, I hate it here.
Right. If I have to drink another of these delicious beverages, I will go mad.
He's like, if a servant makes me another cheese, like a grilled cheese, and I have to sit by the pool and eat it with my margarita in one hand, I think I'm gonna lose my mind.
Like my wife already has.
I just imagine she's like, I think I'm just gonna go to town today. And he's like, you're insane.
Right? She's like, I would prefer a blue dress. And he's like, madness.
Crazy person.
Madness. To the attic with you.
Have you seen those things about like, I don't know if you've seen this Twitter thread, but it's about how guys like fall, like they find their girlfriends annoying.
I have not seen this.
Okay, well, you're saved from the cancer that is this basically.
Oh
But
no.
it's like dudes just talking about like when they're like 2 years into their relationship and they're like, everything my girl does is annoying, like very ball and chain energy. And I'm like, just
Mm,
break up? You
yeah.
psychopath? What?
Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, well, this is big Rochester energy.
literally. Literally.
She
He's like
combs her hair and is beautiful, and it annoys the fuck out of me.
he's like, I'm dating the hottest girl, and every time she wears a cute little dress, I think I'm gonna throw up.
It's like, I was trying to talk about things that interest me, and then she
Mhm.
had an interest that she wanted to talk about, and I disgusted.
Disgusted. Or like he's one of those dudes that dated one of those girls that like really likes cute short dresses that are very tight. And he's like, and she didn't wear a pantsuit. All the men are gonna look at her. And it's like, yeah, buddy, that's why
Uh-huh.
you start dating her, you
That's
psycho.
the whole point of that,
Yeah.
sir.
Sorry your girlfriend's hot, you weirdo? Like, what?
Right. Like boo fucking who, my guy.
Yeah. Oh no, you're dating a supermodel. Pity you? What?
Britain. Mm-mm. Nope.
Let her wear her
And
cute short dress.
she's rich. So
And she's
like,
rich.
listen, all of this. And we know Rochester. We know
Hmm.
he's punching way above his weight here
Oh
with
yeah.
Bertha. Like
Hmm.
this is a dude like this is a dude who's probably a neckbeard and is just like,
Hmm.
"Oh, my dad says I have to marry this woman." And it's just like perfect 10 and he's just like,
Hmm.
I don't know, her like her cheekbones are too high and like they're just like my
Hmm.
guy.
Hmm. Like 100%. She's like, yeah, and I just competed in strong woman. You know, I won first. No biggie. I dated this guy. I thought he was really nice and sweet. And he's like, yeah, she's just like way too manly for me, being really into physical fitness. Like, I'm not into it. See, I'm a guy that like doesn't care about my, what is that? Most neckbeard thing I could say. Um, I don't really care about like body image, and I just think it's like really offensive actually that she works out as much as she does. Like she knows I'm really insecure about it.
There you go. That's it. Meanwhile, it's like, my guy, you have a lady who could lift you up, who could just bench
Literally.
press you. Why don't you want that? I mean,
All
everybody wants what they want, but like, come on, man.
Do you not want uppies?
Who doesn't want uppies?
Everybody wants uppies. What's the point of dating a 6'5" goddess if you don't get uppies?
I full agreement. Full agreement.
Hmm. Hmm.
Rochester apparently did not want uppies, and that's maybe why he's such a miserable sack of shit.
Um, yeah, as he said, oh, I did forget to mention that she is apparently 5 years older than her. He's she's 5 years older than him, and
Right,
he's
Bertha
like, they
is. Right.
lied to me about her age.
Yeah.
I'm like, did they?
It's like,
Did
I don't,
they?
okay, Rochester, whatever you say, my guy. Whatever makes you sleep at
Yeah,
night.
literally. And then he talks about like how he almost like killed himself, but then he felt assigned to go to Europe.
The Europe wind.
Yeah. And he's like, and I'm gonna go there and no one will know my name.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay.
Because my family never talked about my marriage because I told them I was super ashamed of it. So I can just like go and have mistresses. It'll be fun.
They'll be fine. I'll just tell these girls I'm gonna marry them and then leave them to the
And then
wind.
then not do that.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
This is
You
a
know?
foolproof plan.
So nobody then reveals that nobody in the house knew that Bertha existed except Grace Poole.
This is the point where you're like,
Yeah.
what?
How? How did they not know?
Like not even Mrs. Fairfax. He's like, she probably had some inkling about it, but I'm not like gonna fucking tell her that.
Yeah. He's like, I think she suspected, but like I never confirmed. So
Right? It's like she legit lives here, man. She
mm,
legit lives here, and you didn't tell her about this.
literally. Literally.
What the fuck?
What a psychopath. And then he's like, yeah, so my entire plan for traveling was to find a wife. And Jane's like, you already had one though?
Right, but he's like,
So
an actual one, just one that I
yeah.
didn't have to lock in an attic.
Yeah. And then he's like, um, yeah, I have a lot of qualifications. They have to be obedient, be kind of
This
intelligent. And I'm like,
this is such heavy groomer shit, like for real.
yes.
For real,
Yes.
this is what that is. This is not like right wing bullshit. Oh, you fucking groomer. No, like this is
Yeah.
legit grooming. He's like,
Yeah. He's like, I like you because you're innocent and you're malleable. And I'm
right.
like, oh, what?
Uh-huh. Excuse?
Who's? He's like, yeah, you're freshly 18. I'm in my 50s. What could go wrong?
I can turn you into the person that you need to be slash I want you to be. You know,
Literally.
it's it's real gross. This is some heavy incel bullshit right here.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this thing I saw on Reddit, I think it was like a fake story. You know, sometimes people like do like am I the asshole, but it's
Yeah,
like all fake.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw this girl talking about how she was like married this dude when she like turned 18 and he was like in his 30s, and now she's like in her 20s and he's like 50 something, and she's like he's cut me off from all my friends. I hate him. I have no money. I'm a stay-at-home wife. You know, the only friend in the world I have is this housekeeper. I don't know what to do. Um,
Okay, Jane.
yeah,
We've read your Am I the Asshole? We yes.
literally. But in her update, turns out the dude ends up having a heart attack and dying at the kitchen table, and then she's like,
Whoops.
"Yeah, yeah, and now I can be free." And I'm like, "Babe, did you kill him? You can say you
Right.
killed him."
Yeah. I mean, this is anonymous. It's fine.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, and the housekeeper the whole time was like really comforting. And she was like, yeah, you know, everything will take care of itself. And then he had a heart attack, so I guess it did. And I'm like, either you killed him or the housekeeper did, but
Yes.
either way, slay girl.
Slay girls. One of you.
Yeah, girls.
Uh the line that really gets me in like Rochester's whole story, and the one that
Mm-hmm.
makes it go from like cringy to legit gross for me,
Mm-hmm.
is when he's like, I was despairing that I would ever find someone, but then I found you. And it's like, you're
Mm-hmm.
the special one, Jane. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like,
Yep.
like, I'm going to tell you about all of these horrible women that I've experienced in my life and how none of them are even close to you. I'm just going to make you, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
try and make you feel special. And that's why you're good. I'm going to manipulate you into staying with me. I hope that's the plan. That's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah, and then like he goes through all of his mistresses and was like, yeah, she was kind of boring and like she was really like authoritative and that wasn't really my vibe. And then, you know, we just kind of slept together. I gave her money and we moved on. And like goes through all of them. And there's like three different ones. And then he compares to hiring mistresses, aka hiring a prostitute, to like buying a slave and how they feel like inferiors when they're in your home. And I'm like, what did you just
Mm-hmm.
say?
Yup. There are some attitudes that are revealed in this chapter that are
Yeah.
real yuck.
Yup. Indeed they are. And then Rochester's like, Jane, it was like love at first sight when I saw you.
Right? He's like,
And
I saw you
Jane's,
on the road and you were
yeah.
like a weird elf fog creature, and I was like, this
Mm-hmm.
one. This
Mm-hmm.
is the one I want.
He's like, you're 18, right? Basically what happened.
Just like, do you have ID?
Yeah.
When I hired you, I need to check your ID for no
Make
reason.
sure you are 18, no
Right.
older. Very Leonardo DiCaprio. 25? Ew.
Ew.
So, he spends a ton of time watching her like a creep, we find out. And I was like, run, girl! Get out of there! And then Rochester's like, Jane, I just want to be with you. And Jane's like, no, like, absolutely not. And then he like starts trying to give her like kisses to persuade her. And Jane's like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. I'm out of here. And then Jane's like, he's like, you're breaking my heart. You're like succumbing me to misery forever. And Jane's like, do you think like this is how I wanted this to play out? Like, yesterday I thought we were getting married forever. So,
Mm-hmm. He's like, but
but
think of all of the ways in which I have been hurt.
literally. And Jane keeps feeling like very tempted by his offer to just like forget it, try and like fake marry him anyways. And I'm like, girl, what? What?
I mean, to her credit, she loves him. I get it. She wanted that marriage
Mm-hmm.
to happen, and so I get that there's a part of you that's like, yeah, I guess if none of this were true, we could still do that, and I wish none of this were true. But
Mm-hmm.
like, it is, and that's
Yeah.
the part of Jane that's like, slap back to
Yeah.
reality. Come on.
Yeah. Like I love Jane's like inner monologue of being like, I'm being a moron right now. I needed to just go.
Yes. It's just like this is not working.
She's like,
Shut
bad
up,
plan.
Jane. Jane, shut up. This is
Yeah.
Jane. Jane, this is Jane. You need to stop.
So she's like, all right, no, I'm done. Goodbye. He starts like grabbing at her, and Jane's like, no, for real. Back up.
The self assertion that Jane has in this moment is pretty great.
Hmm.
Like
Oh, yeah.
this whole book, like this book is billed as like Jane is an independent spirit who makes her own decisions. It's like
Hmm.
she fucking stands up to this man and is like,
Hmm.
"We're not doing this.
Yeah.
Remove yourself from me, sir." Like
Hmm.
she is a power moment, and it's like I get it. This is hard, but I.
Hmm.
She's like, "Nope, we're done." Mm-mm.
Brutal. And I love it.
Yes.
So she's like, I'm gonna leave. I'm done. It's over. She goes to her room, waits for darkness, and then she dips out of there. No goodbyes to nobody.
This is
Just
my
walking.
this is my favorite way to say goodbye.
Yeah.
You just leave.
I don't know why they call this an Irish goodbye, and I don't know if it's racist or not.
I think it probably is, but
Probably.
I'm also like I just goodbyes are hard. And I think
Yeah.
in this moment Jane knows that if she stopped, like this is the quintessential moment where if you stop, you stop. And so it's like
Yeah.
we're just going. We got to go
Yeah.
because if we don't, we aren't going to and we need to. So this is it. This is like this is a very relatable passage for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, the power to her to just be like, I have no destination.
Yep, I'm just leaving.
I'm out. She has no money either.
Nope.
Doesn't even grab the pearl necklace to pawn it, by the way.
It is wild.
Yeah.
She's like,
So,
"No, I will be independent in this moment."
mhm. I'll be independent if it kills me.
Spoilers, it almost does.
Yeah, literally. So she makes it to a road, gives some dude all of the money to take her as far as possible. And I'm like, what are you doing? Bad plan, Jane. Bad plan. Don't do that. But she does. And there she go. And that is all we have for this episode.
A lot of the things, a lot of events. Where does
Yeah.
Jane go from here?
We'll find out next week.
Who is this handsome St. John Rivers that she meets? We'll find
I don't
out.
even know what that name is, but we'll find out next week.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, Alex, where can the people of the internet find you and the stuff you do?
You can find me on Twitter at Mightiest Finn, Blue Sky at Mighty Finn. I write games and play games, and I post about all of those things. Plus, I post cute dog pics. So if any of that appeals to you, you can find me there.
And you'll find him here again next week.
Woo!
Woo! Bye, everybody.
Bye.